Hi there, folks. Welcome back to M&M Weekly. We talk about movies, media, and everything in between. And for today's movie review, we're going to be doing the new biblical thriller, Risen. Now, first let's ask the question: what makes a good biblical epic? Well, to be honest, the biblical epic is basically when someone makes the definition of a movie that is made based off of a story or a specific time from the Bible. The first of which that comes to mind for most people would be the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston. And that was made several years ago, back when Charlton Heston was still with us, back in like 1950s per se. And that film was by far one of the few epics that actually managed to do justice to the source material, although I don't have much knowledge of this. The second biblical epic was... Not many biblical epics would follow soon enough, but biblical epics didn't really explode much until in 2006 with The Passion of the Christ, directed by Mel Gibson, and starring Jim Caviezel as God himself, as Jesus himself. Now, that film was by far considered the best biblical epic of all time, since the Ten Commandments. And although, however, Jim Caviezel himself suffered, and Mel Gibson did do well as a director, still proved he was good as a director, especially after his star turn in Braveheart. But there have been biblical epics and tried to match that with the other films, like The Son of God being only pretty decent. Exodus, Gods and Kings were really flunked entirely with critics. For critics, mainly because really this guy's an atheist and doesn't really understand the Bible story well enough. But anyways, when I heard that Sony was giving a new spin on was doing a new biblical epic called Risen, reportedly being directed by Kevin Reynolds, the director of Waterworld, of one of the biggest box office flops of all time, Waterworld, was starring Kevin Costner, and co-written by Joss Whedon. One of the biggest films, and I was actually curious about this film, not only because it had two decent stars behind it, including Joseph Fiennes as a Roman centurion, as well as a newbie played by Tom Felton, aka Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter series. The film actually showed a ton of promise, and also early critical reviews were highly praising the film, and a lot better than most other biblical epics in recent memory. So with that in mind, I went and saw Risen. Does it live up to critics' expectations? Well, that's kind of a debatable question, but I will say this: it is most certainly a lot better than Exodus, Gods and Kings, and it's definitely one of the few great biblical epics. However, I wouldn't be so quick as to call this film all that great or required listening. It doesn't really do much innovative or over the top with its biblical saying. This is a Bible, however, you're not really supposed to do that. But however, this one actually does succeed on its own merits, mainly because it has a good cast behind it, a great direction, a good script, and a few other key elements that we'll get to in just a moment. So in other words, yeah, it's not really a great movie, but it's definitely a good one. So let's start with the first part about this. So let's talk about one of the few things that I feel like I should point out to this film: the directing. Now, like I said, the director behind this project is Kevin Reynolds, the director of Waterworld, and part of the reason that film kind of flopped was because of the production problems that plagued it. However, for Risen, it seems that there weren't any production problems plaguing it. So basically, I think Kevin Reynolds was kind of more confident and comfortable while making this film, and his direction actually is pretty good. And this leads to and now we'll talk about the writing as well, because this is where Kevin Reynolds, who wrote the script of this film, he actually injects one thing about this film that separates it from most biblical epics: a sense of humor. And actually, given that it just has a sense of humor, given that I like to read books and I'm an author and I'm a writer as well, I remember it kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of the Squire's Tales by pastor and author Gerald Morris. We basically took several King Arthur tales about medieval England, specifically centered around some people associated with King Arthur. He basically took some of those tales, rewrote them into story form, and gave him several key elements that made them great. Some relatability, some pathos, a lot of wit, and an enormous sense of humor, and plenty of relatable characters and jocularity to make the films worthwhile, while still maintaining a few serious moments as well as some good pathos to go along with it. And that, if anything, got me curious when I saw this film. And although I will say this film does have the sense of humor in this film is kind of more wry and subtle. It is still there, and you won't find yourself laughing much. But let's be honest. Many films that actually have a sense of humor don't inspire a lot of laughter. Let's be honest. Now, there's not much I want to say about that. So let's move on to the cast, and there's not much I can say about the cast either, given that I don't know much about the cast either. So let's talk about a few main actors in this film. First of all, Joseph Fiennes, and in this film, his character, played by Claudius, is one of the Roman centurions overseeing Jesus' execution and death on the cross. Making sure that his body is put in a tomb and no one else can take him away. And however, after he rises from the dead, he's assigned by Pilate to track down the body and to ensure that there's no unrest in the kingdom. So that's kind of mainly his story. But along the way, he has a few encounters that question him, lead him to question everything he knows about the city of Rome itself. And that's pretty much the main basics of the plot. The main basics of synopsis of the film. It's not the entire plot, but it's just the basic synopsis. And aside from that, I actually found this film. I found it a pretty good time for a film, and I think Joseph Fiennes is really good. I didn't really see the guy much in terms of his films, but he does a great job. And especially, and even Tom Felton, who plays a young centurion who is assigned to be Claudius's aide. He plays his part quite well. I never saw the Harry Potter films, so I can't say how good of an actor he is, but I thought he was good enough at best. And the only other actor I can get to on this film is the guy who plays Jesus, Cliff Curtis. Now, given that I have seen this guy before, The Last Airbender, anyone? Yeah, I would say that he actually plays this role with more subtlety and nuance. He doesn't exactly go too big over the top of the whole, "Oh, I'm God. Oh, yes, here I am. I'm back for the dead. Bow down, worship me. I am your God." No, he actually plays it with more nuance and subtlety, and it actually has a good sense of that throughout the film. It's kind of a bit more restrained. It's not exactly all showy and flashy, which, believe it or not, I actually found rather appealing. As for flaws, I do kind of wish that the film had more of an impact in some way, because given that this is a story from the Bible, and many Christians will see it, will expect a bit of impact when it comes to something like this, but I'm pretty sure that even if non-believers go see it, I won't see them converting themselves to Christianity anytime soon, but then again, that's trivial. But at the very least, I can see them kind of come away with something from this story. Sorry, heck, I'm a Christian, and to some extent, I can away just as not all that impacted, but I still liked it. So in the end, yeah, I say, in summation, I'm actually a bit surprised at how good Risen is. It's definitely a lot better than than some biblical epics of late, like the Son of God, and especially Exodus, Gods, and Kings. But all in all, it's a great film for its audience. It has a good sense of humor. The cast is great. The cast is good. The directing is great. The writing is good. The writing is par, and basically And basically, there's not a lot I can really say that's already been said. So for me, as far as my rating goes, I won't say you won't want to binge watching this, but I will say this film is a good enough time. No munchies required. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, like my Facebook page, subscribe, and for more, I'd be more than happy with that. If there's anything you guys want to ask me, just let me know. I would like to do a Q&A soon with your questions, and yeah, just so you know, my first book, Firstborn: The Preview Chronicles, is available for sale. I'd be more than glad if you pick up a copy and check it out. So if you want to see it, click the link down below. Until then, this has been M&M Weekly. I'll see you next time.